Covered in blood, my high school freshman daughter, Becky, who was supposed to have gone to my husband's family home with him, returned home bleeding from her forehead. I screamed in shock, and after hastily treating her wounds, I immediately contacted my husband, Ryan. When he answered the phone, I couldn't help but yell at him, "Ryan, where are you? I told you I'm on a business trip, didn't I?" I was stunned by his unexpected reply. A while ago, I had seen him off with Becky 5 days earlier, heading to his family home. Before me stood my daughter, seriously injured. Seeing my confusion, Vicky told me a shocking truth. My name is Kathy Hansen, a 40-year-old part-time housewife. My husband, Ryan, the same age as me, is a salesman who visits various schools to sell high school teaching materials. He always says trust is important, looking so cool being diligent and proper. Maggie became a high school freshman this spring. Once a clingy child who couldn't leave my side, she's now so responsible that she cooks dinner while waiting for me to return from my part-time job. Life was peaceful with my husband and daughter, but 5 years ago, my mother became bedridden due to an internal illness. Since then, I've been busy juggling caregiving and my part-time job, unable to manage a visit to my in-laws except during the Christmas holidays. During such times, Ryan was safe, jokingly saying, "Don't overdo it. Aren't you lucky to have an understanding husband?" He would go to visit his family home alone, and though I felt terrible, I was grateful as I was overwhelmed with caring for my mother. 3 years ago, my mother-in-law passed away suddenly in an accident. My father-in-law, who was very close to her, became deeply depressed, and Ryan's visits to his family home became more frequent. Moreover, Ryan expressed his desire to take his dad on a trip to cheer him up and treat him to delicious meals with each visit. The expenses increased $300 to $500, but I couldn't complain about money as I hadn't been able to visit my in-laws myself. One day, Ryan mentioned the cost of his next visit. "I need $11,000 for my next trip home," he said. I doubted if such a large sum was really necessary for visiting back home, but he never explained the details of the expenses. It must be necessary, I thought, as a way of showing how thankful I am to my father-in-law. I convinced myself of this. However, due to the sudden expense, I had no choice but to temporarily withdraw money from the savings account I had set aside for Becky's school fees. I'll have to skip going to the beauty salon for a while and make sure not to dip into Becky's money again, I decided, beginning to save diligently and gradually returning money to Becky's account. As Becky's exams finally ended and things settled down, my father-in-law said, "I want to see my granddaughter again." "All right, I'll take Becky and Dad to eat seafood as a reward for their hard work." "Really?" "Yay." Seeing Becky's beaming smile, I stroked her head, saying, "Thank you for always being so patient." She never complained, even though she always had to endure and even helped with caring for my mother. I was filled with gratitude. Then, on the morning of their departure to visit my father-in-law, Becky said, "I'll buy some souvenirs and come back." I replied, "Have fun," and we were all smiling. Little did we know what was about to happen. 5 days after Ryan and Becky left for my in-laws, around noon, I was preparing lunch in the kitchen when I heard the front door rattle open. "Who is it?" I shouted, entering without ringing the doorbell. I was startled and headed to the entrance, only to find Becky standing there, bleeding from her forehead. What on earth happened? I let out a scream, almost in a shriek, desperately looking around for Ryan, but he was nowhere to be seen. Trembling, my eyes brought Becky inside, and I immediately called out to Ryan, "Ryan, where are you?" "I'm at work. Didn't I tell you that I left for a business trip the day after taking Becky to my parents' home?" I was confused, having heard nothing of this work, and more importantly, Becky had come home seriously injured. Ryan hung up quickly after saying, "She probably just fell. Don't take it too seriously. Girls her age tend to exaggerate." I couldn't possibly accept such a nonsensical story. While attending to Becky, I asked her, "Why are you injured? And did Dad leave for work?" Vicky, her face pale, kept her trembling lips sealed for a while. Then she whispered, Dad. He pushed me. Shocked. I gently rubbed Becky's back as I listened to her story. An unbelievable truth was exposed. Ryan had been keeping secrets from us, and he had injured Becky when she discovered them. That's not all. He threatened her while she was bleeding, saying, "If you tell anyone about this, next time it won't just be an injury." Vicky had managed to escape from my in-laws' house when Ryan hesitated, and my father-in-law returned home. Fortunately, she had some money with her and was able to take the bus back home. How anxious she must have been, hiding her injury all the way here. I vowed never to forgive anyone who hurts my sweet Becky. I was angry not only at Ryan for abusing Becky, but also at the secrets he had kept. After hearing everything from Becky, I was about to call my father-in-law, ready for revenge. I was shocked to see numerous missed calls from him on my phone. "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't notice the phone while I was cooking." I apologized. "No, it's fine." More importantly, I heard Becky had to rush back due to some urgent matter. "Did she arrive safely at your place?" "That's what I've been worried about, and why I called so many times," my father-in-law inquired. Hearing his words left me speechless. My husband, Ryan, had fabricated such a lie to cover up the fact that our daughter, whom he had injured, had fled back to our home. I then spilled everything to my father-in-law, who was oblivious to it all. "Becky is fine. I'm taking her to the hospital, but I can't forgive Ryan. Can you keep him at your house a bit longer?" "I want to give him a piece of my mind," I requested. My father-in-law immediately agreed, promising his cooperation. He said he would cunningly persuade Ryan to stay at their home for a while longer. In the meantime, I ran around making preparations for a confrontation with my husband. 5 days later, after completing the investigation into Ryan's secrets, I was on my way to my in-laws' house. Just as I was about to ring the doorbell, I saw Becky running up to me, out of breath. "Mom, wait for me. Didn't I tell you to wait at home? I can't just sit around. I have to confront him about what he did to me." I had planned to go into my in-laws' house alone, not wanting Becky to witness the argument between my husband and me. But it seemed Becky didn't want to just stay put. "I think I have a right to speak up too," Becky said, unyielding. Reluctantly, I agreed. I accepted her anger and decided to fight this together. We were greeted by my father-in-law, who was already aware of the plan. Entering the living room, we found Ryan, who appeared to have just woken up, lounging in his pajamas and watching TV. "Oh, weren't you supposed to be on a business trip, Ryan?" Startled by my sudden voice, Ryan jumped up. He started making lame excuses about how he was supposed to go, but then didn't need to. "Well, that doesn't matter now." "What I want to know about is Vicky's injury," I stated firmly. "Oh, that clumsy her. Seems like she fell down the stairs and hit her forehead," Ryan replied. I was about to yell at my husband for feigning ignorance, but my father-in-law spoke first. "Enough. I know that Becky's injury is your fault," he said sternly. Becky chimed in, "Yeah, that's right." And I glared at Ryan, feeling cornered. Ryan started to look nervous, but then suddenly seemed to have an idea and argued back. "As if you have the right to talk. You never visited my parents, but I was the one taking care of them," Ryan said, smug and grinning, thinking I wouldn't be able to say anything. Indeed, I had kept quiet before, thinking he was right. But after hearing Becky's story, I knew Ryan's words were full of lies. "Oh, really? Leaving all the housework to your daughter and not spending time with your father is called taking care of the family?" "Yeah. Ever since you brought me here, you've been lazing around at home," I retorted, feeling the weight of frustration. "Shut up. This is just a one-time thing. Usually, I'm the one working hard," Ryan snapped back. Watching Ryan boast, I pulled out my father-in-law's account of household expenses that I had previously obtained. It detailed not only the money in and out, but also how Ryan spent his time at his parents' house. "Let me tell you what's written here," I began, pointing to the document. June 10th, gave Ryan $200 for transportation. He lazed around all day as usual, went out at night, and returned in the morning. Food expenses increased because of Ryan's presence. I calmly read out the details. According to this, every time Ryan visited, he lied about me not giving him transportation money and received cash from his father. Taking advantage of my absence, Ryan had painted me as a stingy, evil wife to gain sympathy from his father. How can you not be ashamed of mooching off your parents at your age and getting all sorts of help too? I questioned, feeling sorry for him initially, thinking he didn't have any money and tried to help out. All it was a lie too. Cornered by our accusations, Ryan fell silent at a loss for words. What have you been using all that money for, I wonder? Well, no need to say anything. You're probably just thinking of another pathetic lie. Ignoring Ryan's mumbling, I presented a photo in front of him. You needed so much money because you were splurging at places like this, right? How do you know about this place? Surprised that I knew about it, the color drained from his face. The secret that Becky had discovered while Ryan was visiting his parents was this. She thought Ryan was diligently caring for his father, but he was actually going out at night and returning in the morning. Suspicious, she secretly investigated and installed an app on his phone to track his location. After he left, she checked his whereabouts on a computer, always finding him at the same place. Researching online, Becky found out it was a gentleman's club. Shocked, she was about to call me when Ryan returned home. He found her researching the location and the club on the computer, and in a fit of rage, pushed her. Becky hit her head on the corner of a dresser, causing the bleeding, and the rest is as you know. After hearing Becky's story, I left my mother in the care of professionals for a few days and went to the club to gather evidence of Ryan's wasteful spending. The shock I felt seeing my husband cheerfully entering the club. The money for this visit, even a temporary, was taken from Becky's school fund, and he used it. "This, Dad, you're the worst," I said, presenting undeniable evidence. Ryan, cornered by the evidence, muttered weakly, "Isn't this normal for men?" and looked up at his father for support. "What are you talking about? Using your child's school money for your satisfaction is inexcusable for any man. I'm tired from work. Isn't it okay to have a little fun?" Vicky sighed in exasperation at Ryan's stubbornness. "Mom, do you know what kind of place that is?" "Huh? Oh no, I just took the photo and left immediately. I thought so." "Here, take this," Vicky said, laying out several printed pages of the club's website on the table. Looking over them with my father-in-law, we saw that the outfits worn by the girls at the club were school uniforms. They all seemed to be adults, but it was a gentleman's club where they cosplayed in revealing school uniforms. Seeing this, I thought to myself, exposing my daughter of this age to such a world. I was filled with anger, but Becky seemed unfazed. "So, Dad, you like this kind of stuff, huh?" "Gross," she commented, handing the papers to Ryan with a shudder, as if the idea was repulsive. "Well, you don't have to say it like that, you know. If your clients at the schools found out about your love for girls with uniforms, it could be a big problem, right? I doubt your company, which sells educational materials to schools, would want to keep an employee with such hobbies," I said with an icy stare. Ryan turned pale. I quickly grabbed Ryan's schedule book, which was left in his business bag, and found it easily. "Looking at this now, I know all the schools you've been visiting. Maybe I should inform your clients about your wonderful hobby. Please spare me that. I'm sorry. I went too far. I'll change my ways from now on." Realizing he couldn't escape, Ryan started trembling and knelt down. He apologized profusely, but years of frequenting those clubs, wasting money, not to mention injuring our daughter, were not forgivable. "Who would believe a liar like you?" I thought. "Dad, I've consulted with a lawyer, and I'm ready to proceed with a divorce. I'll make sure you pay back all the money you squandered on your indulgences, plus compensation. This is the end for us." Ryan tried to cling to Becky, but she dodged him, saying, "You gross." Eventually, he broke down crying, and we glared at him coldly. Soon after the divorce was finalized, and I demanded from Ryan the $115,000 he had squandered and $30,000 in compensation. Word of his club visits leaked to his company. Ryan was fired, and even his father cut ties with him. Now he lives alone in a rundown house, barely making ends meet with day-to-day jobs. Unable to afford the compensation payments, he ended up borrowing money from shady lenders and now lives in fear of debt collectors. Meanwhile, I have found more time to myself after the divorce. With Becky's help, my mother's health improved significantly, and she no longer needs care. Now, the three of us women are enjoying a happy and harmonious life.